Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I missed you so much. I apologize that it took so long for me to come back. For those who may have missed it, I was diagnosed with lupus early last year, and unfortunately, after a big round of immunosuppressants, I caught the flu and it turned into pneumonia. And then I spent the last couple months fighting that off. And so we are alive. We made it. We recovered. We're back. I am manifesting that if I, can't do something work-wise this year, it's because Mercury retrograde fucked with me and not my health. So thank you for those who have stuck around. And for anybody who is new here, my name is Psychic Bella Love. Welcome. Make sure if you are not already subscribed, you do subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. I know sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but I do plan on uploading more videos for, let's see, there's a few disclaimers I wanted to make before we get into today's video, but you may have noticed that things are a little different. I have a little bit of a different setup tech-wise. I finally got a new computer and upgraded. So it was like, that was the worst part about being sick, was that I literally got the computer and then like the week after, or that week, I think it was, like I got pneumonia and I was just like, no, I was trying to like do all of these things and I was so excited. And now, I can't do everything that I planned on doing with it. So, it doesn't mean we're always going to have this background and all of this going on. I just wanted to kind of play around with it since I haven't gotten the opportunity to yet. So I'm recording on the computer. I am in my room too, so I don't have like a ton of space. The computer is taking up most of my desk and I have about this much space for all of my cards. I did shuffle cards and was laying them out, and then I realized that I forgot to hit record. So we are redoing this. So if you did want to follow me elsewhere, find my website, my Patreon, any of that, my information will be in the description box below. If you wanted to book your own personal private reading with me, you can go to psychicbellalove.com. And as of right now, until the end of the month, you can use code YouTube for half off any reading, just to celebrate that I'm back here on YouTube again. I plan on continuing to upload weekly. So, and if you ever do see me not posting over here, I am always active on my Patreon, and that's where we have exclusive content. I don't upload stuff over there and then bring it over here months later. It is all, unless otherwise specified, solely for my patrons. You can go to patreon.com/psychicbellalove and join for as little as $3 a month. That is where we have all kinds of uncensored things. I talk about the Illuminati. I talk about everything, history, religion, all of that. So it's a good time. We do lives each week as well. I don't know if I will be able to resume doing lives over here weekly, just because it can be hard depending on, how I feel each day. So doing recordings and uploading them later is probably what it's going to be for now. And also, I do not take requests anywhere. Don't try to get in my Instagram DMs asking them or bothering me on threads or anything like that. Also, before we get started on this topic, because I know that people like to get all up in arms about it, first and foremost, remember, these people don't know you. They're not going to pick you. They're not going to pay your bills. They don't care about you. Stop freaking bullying people behind celebrities. They're all demon worshipers. It doesn't matter what religion they claim to be a part of. You have to be a Freemason or part of some secret society, what we call the Illuminati, in order to, for us to even know who the hell they are and for them to even be on our TV screens. So please keep that in mind. And if people are being crazy in the comments, I will just turn it off. I don't care that much about engagement to let my followers get bullied or for people to not be able to comment safely. Okay. Also, because I know, there may be people that are coming from different backgrounds over here. And I mean political leanings when I say that. I am not a Trump supporter. I don't support any politician. They're all demon worshipers, as I already said. So, but I especially do not follow or support Trump. So if you are one of those people who is a rabid Candace Owens viewer and you think that she has all of the tea and the information on all of this, just go exit out and go back over to her channel where your people are, because that's not what we're about over here. So what I did pull the cards on was, first of all, I was just asking about what is the overlying energy around this situation. I will do a, questions, more direct questions on it in a moment. Also, I don't read my cards the way that regular tarot card readers do, because I am not a tarot card reader. I only ever use them on YouTube just as visual aids for you guys and to, kind of have that buffer between my energy and the Satanists, because I don't want to fully be in theirs. So, if you're going to be looking for somebody to watch that's going to sit there and be like, this is how you lay out your cards and this is what it all means. Again, go find somebody else to teach you how to do that. I never learned how to do that because I'm a psychic medium first and foremost. That's how I get my information. And those who've read with me know, like, I don't pull out tarot cards during our calls. I'm just right in there with you with spirit. So the first thing that was coming up, because, I've read every single paper that has been filed with the courts on this. I have read through the lawsuits, the websites, listened to both sides, of lawyers going back and forth and explaining things. Dario and I are going to do a deeper dive on this over on Patreon at some point. Not exactly sure when, because I was sick and then he's been super busy with work. So that is coming, where we're going to talk about the real powers that be that are behind all of this, because these are the front-facing people. We know there's Scooter Braun and Ariana Emanuel and Sony involved in this stuff, but it goes even deeper than that. So join us over on patreon.com/psychicbellalove for that info. But getting into it, while I was getting ready and sitting down to do this, and, I start trying to get into the energy of it and thinking about it and everything, something that came up from spirit, and this is, regarding Blake and Justin, not all the other people that are involved in this situation, is that both of them are going to have a bit of a difficult time, obviously, recovering from this, regardless of, if they go to trial and win, they settle, who does or whatever, right? Justin is going to have a much harder time of it, though. I'm just going to be upfront with you. He did not have this super established career before this. He was on Jane the Virgin, and then pretty much anything else that he's been on since has been things that his own company has funded and produced, whereas Blake was a bigger household name. Like, most people didn't even know who he was unless you did watch Jane the Virgin. Before this, like, my followers had to remind me that he was from that show. I thought he was a podcaster and like a Jay Shetty kind of a person. And I had watched a couple episodes of Jane the Virgin. It just wasn't my thing, so I didn't continue. And I did watch his TED Talk long ago. I have never watched Gossip Girl. I've never watched a Blake Lively movie. I've never watched Ryan Reynolds. So I don't have a dog in this fight as far as, oh my God, somebody's my favorite and how dare they, or anything like that. Also, I'm always more interested in the truth in things than I am in picking a favorite anyways. So, regardless of whatever, you can dislike Blake because she's plantation Barbie. I could give a crap about if people don't like her for, whatever she's done in the past. That's up to you to choose if you like her or not. Same thing with him, and I will just say, in regards to him as a fellow Italian American, I have seen people say some very uncool things about Italians. You can call him baloney. I don't care about that. He himself may consider himself white. There are a lot of Italians who don't. It is a very complex thing within our community for various reasons. And unless you are Italian, you won't understand that probably. And I don't consider myself white as an Italian. I will say that. So, just wanted to saying things like, oh, he's a WAP. First of all, because I've seen that said a few times, WAP means without papers. If you were born in America, that doesn't even apply to you anyways. But it's not cool to start, using slurs and being prejudiced against somebody or bashing the whole entire Italian or Italian American community because of it. Same way that we're not going to be anti-Semitic towards anybody or any of that stuff, although it's still free Palestine over here, but you can be against Israel and not be against the Jewish community. Those can be separate things, okay? Same way that, I don't agree with anything the American government is doing, but I'm not going to shit on the whole entire American people because of it. So let's keep that in mind, and let's not be horrible people just because we don't agree with something that somebody has done. And let's also not be so blinded by celebrity worship or misogyny that we're going to go be bullies to people either, okay? So moving on from that, and this will probably end up maybe being like a 2-part or video because there's a lot to get into with all of this. So Spirit is saying, the more that we find out about this situation, because again, just because somebody uploaded a whole website of text messages does not mean that they actually provided evidence. It was a PR narrative. Just because you think Blake didn't submit any receipts yet, that is for the discovery process in a lawsuit. If I sue somebody, I'm not going to go and put all of my proof about why I'm suing them on Instagram. My lawyers are going to tell me, as long as you don't have a lawyer like Brian Friedman, wait and submit it in the court process when we get to the discovery phase. I have been through lawsuits, so I know how this works. So, we haven't seen her proof yet. It hasn't been submitted to the courts yet. It will, but we're just, it's going to take a minute before we get to see everything. And again, I don't think that this, if it does go to trial, is going to be televised, like Johnny and Amber's was. So we're going to have to rely on court records and court reporters to tell us every single thing that went down during the day, the way that we had to with like Tory and Megan's case or, other cases. We'll have to do the same thing with Diddy's case. So Spirit is talking about there's going to be a big change as far as the way that people view things. Like, the more information that does get released around this, the more that we do see actual evidence. A lot of people that are on one side are going to switch to another once we get further into this. They're also talking about narratives that are being spun that's going to exhaust the general public too. Like, at some point, being so loud about this person is right and it's this person and it's this person, and people get information overload and then they start to rebel against it, right? So they are talking about the Ace of Swords, is a communication card and things being revealed. And then the Fool card, where people are suddenly, starting to see things differently and changing their mind and being like, oh, I didn't, maybe I was wrong. Because the Queen of Cups is right behind it, Spirit is saying that this is in regards to Blake being the one that people are going to start taking her side more, and there will be more favor towards her. Also, what Spirit is saying is there's a lot of people that actually do believe her side, that they're just not being vocal about it, because it's like, I don't want to get in a fight with everybody on Instagram about it. I don't want to sit here and get dragged through the mud on Reddit because I said that, I felt like what he's saying doesn't make sense, or maybe he is a little creepy or whatever, the thing may be. And so a lot of people are sort of maybe waiting more for things to calm down and people to be more reasonable before they voice their side of it. So there is going to be changes in the way that people are talking about this and viewing it, and we're going to see a different narrative that is coming. And Spirit's not talking about, oh, somebody bought bots or somebody got, a CIA person or whatever. They're talking about real people and real comments and real support, and people really changing the side that they are on in this situation. So something else that is coming up as well, expect, because this is the one thing that I kept thinking, and if you want realty, a lot of the realty is in Stephanie Jones versus the Jennifer Abel, the two PR people's lawsuits against each other. And after I read that, and then I went back and started going back through Blake and Justin's filings all over again, I was just like, Jennifer Abel, girl, you need to protect yourself, because you are going to be the one that gets thrown under the bus so damn hard in this situation. And that's exactly what Spirit is saying is going to happen, that we're going to start seeing people on the Baldoni side, because there's more people involved in that lawsuit and as defendants. They're going to start turning on each other. They're going to start throwing people under the bus. We're going to see that whole side fracture. Right now, they think that there's strength in numbers. Jennifer Abel may not feel like she has the financial resources to go up against this on her own, but girl, get you some legal insurance. Go take out a loan, whatever you need to do, because staying in this lawsuit as being represented by the same lawyer and in the same group is going to be your biggest mistake. It's not going to work out well for you. We got the Four of Cups here. So you screwed yourself. And Spirit saying it's not only about the things that she has said that the courts are aware of, or that either side is aware of, that were in the written communications that they have now. She was bragging to other people outside of this case, and that will come out and be revealed, and that is going to be her undoing. So you got the Ten of Swords as your outcome on that. That's not good, baby. That is not good. Okay. Also, if y'all are going to continue to trial, just all of you on the Wayfarer side, you need to get another lawyer ASAP, because Spirit is talking about, Friedman likes to be big and loud and in your face and make a lot of bold statements and litigate things through the press. But just because he's on Candace Owens or Billy Bush or whoever's, channel today and talking real loud and assertive and acting like he's got all of this information that's going to work out in his favor and he's going to exonerate his clients and this and that. If we get to court and he has to litigate this, he's going to lose, is what Spirit is saying. He is too overconfident in his abilities, but his true knowledge of like being in a court trial, especially in a federal court, and Blake's lawyers are good. Okay, they've worked for the government, they worked in the Baldoni administration. They don't play all of the like, oh, let's just go on all these shows and talk about everything. They're more like, we love going to court. We love litigating in court. We love to fight somebody. We love to prove somebody wrong. Like the way that Spirit is comparing how things would go for Brian if he is the person that's fighting for them in the courtroom, it's going to be like Elaine versus Camille in the Depp, her trial, where sometimes it's like I was watching it and being like, Elaine, fight back. What's wrong with you? And she looked like she was about to like have a nervous breakdown and start crying because she was constantly being outwitted and out-argued and, having everything that she was doing picked apart. And Spirit is saying it will be the same thing there. And he's no match for Gottlieb and Co., who is Blake's lawyer. So, I would reconsider that if I was you, because right now Spirit is saying, he thinks he's the emperor with this magician card energy behind him. However, when we get to the judgment card, we got the 6 of Swords behind him and the 3 of Swords. Outside interference that crumbles everything that you're trying to achieve down and ending up very unhappy with the outcome of that situation. So that goes for everybody that he's representing right now. And go look at his current cases that he's fighting. He's been bungling them a lot because he's got other cases that he's been representing. He's somebody that Spirit is saying he's used to basically bullying his way into settlements, or kind of more like low-level court things, or he's used to fighting against somebody like a Tyrone Blackburn who, Tyrone ain't shit, right? But having to go up against people who are real, true, like hardcore, like we fight in court all the time and this is our expertise, is not going to work out great. So anyways, Whitney always just has to pop in and make her little appearance, doesn't she? So anyways, moving on from that, it's also coming up, at some point, even though this, I don't know exactly how you say it, so I may be mispronouncing it, Sarowitz character, he's going to be tired of offering all of this financial assistance to this situation. It's like, I was prepared to put everything that I had into this to defend my company and to defend the people that work for me, because he's apparently the financial backer of Wayfarer. But it's like at some point, he starts to see it as the losing battle that it is. And I get him walking away from the whole company, regardless of outcome of this situation. It's like, I can go start another production company. I can go invest my money elsewhere, but I'm not really like all in the way that I was on this situation in the beginning, because like Spirit's saying, it's like, you know, part of his thing in this isn't just about like trying to protect a business, because he was saying, I guess, that, you know, he was prepared to put $100 million behind ruining Blake and Ryan and defending, you know, Justin and Jamie and everybody. But he's also a business person when it comes down to it, right? And so it's like, you know, it was an ego battle for him at first. And it's like my ego got activated in this. And, you know, I saw it as a threat to something that I was trying to do. But then it's like, wait, I can go start another production company and pick people that, you know what they're doing more. There's other people within the Baha'i faith that I can get to do this. Like I can go work with Rainn Wilson instead, or Penn Badgley or somebody else. And so it's no longer becomes worth it to him once his ego disengages from it. And then it really is like about dollars and cents. And it's just like, it's not, this is not financially viable for me anymore. I need to be done with this situation. So since he's coming up as the King of Swords, like I come in ready to fight. However, the longer that this takes, the more it drags on, and the more that I start to feel like maybe things aren't going to work out the way that I hoped it would be. You know, we had that 8 of Cups walking away. We've got the Knight of Pentacles in reverse, no longer wanting to put his money and resources behind this. So Spirit is saying, if there is some sort of a judgment or a settlement that goes against them, he might pay it just to like get it off of his back, but he's done with Baldoni and the whole situation when it comes down to it. Also, Spirit is saying we are going to see such a crazy pivot from Baldoni career-wise, because he's not going to be booking any movies anytime soon. And it doesn't matter if he wants to produce and fund, you know, his own stuff. It's like SAG doesn't want to work with you. You can't get a distributor. So like you're going to have to release it on YouTube anyways. And so it's just like, okay, well, I got to like go in a different direction, because like I'm not going to make any money doing that. And, you know, not only will he go back to podcasting full time, but we're going to see a very different podcast come from him, because he's not going to be interested in I'm the male feminist anymore. Like, you know, I don't think he's going to go full Andrew Tate, but I do feel like he'll try to lean into conspiracy theory content and, oh my God, men who've been wronged, you know, because he's never going to admit if he felt like he was wrong or not. He's just going to see what happens to him as being wronged. Spirit, how is this whole lawsuit situation between Blake and Justin going to pan out? That's Whitney in the background playing with her toys. I came in the room away from her because she was hanging out in the other room. And I tell you, this girl is so clingy now. I'm surprised that she hasn't tried to keep jumping on and off my lap this whole time. Oh, and for my patrons, because I kept saying that it was like almost scaring me how she's suddenly so friendly, wants to be at my butt all the time. And I was like, is it because I've been sick? I also forgot that we did a group self-love ritual. We did self-love jars, and I did one for her. So, and I did put in there that she was going to get over her fears and start being the cuddly girl that she wanted to be. So I have nobody to blame but myself for that one. But it worked, right? Okay. And I hope you guys have all been well. I've just missed you all so much. So frustrating every day. I was like, am I never gonna get over this? Am I gonna be this sick for the rest of my life? I was like about to have a mental breakdown. Every time the doctors were like, let's give you some new antibiotics and see if that'll work, I was just like, oh my God, when is this ending? Okay. Well, the ultimate winner in this situation is going to be Blake. Spirit is saying she has witnesses that are going to back up everything that she claims. She does have evidence of things. You know, they're talking about, I know it was like a big deal about like, oh, she took over editing and this and that, but Spirit is saying the reason why she did was not only because it was about making sure that certain things didn't end up in the movie, that whether it was, you know, scenes that she did that she didn't feel comfortable with having those end up in the final cut, you know, because she felt pressured into doing them according, you know, the stuff that she talked about in her lawsuit, or because she was trying to protect young Lily and she didn't, you know, she felt like that went, those love scenes between her and young Atlas went too far. Definitely there was that, but Spirit is saying the real intention was she knew that a lot of this stuff was captured on the cameras and she needed to get copies of that for herself because she felt like at some point I may need that, and those will come out in the court. I know that there's been some rumors online about all of that, and Spirit is saying those were not unfounded rumors. They just got drowned out by louder voices, but there is receipts because, again, we have the judgment card that comes up as the final outcome card, followed by the Empress card talking about Blake being the Empress in this situation and her being the ultimate winner. Okay. And if you think I might be wrong, go back and watch my Amber and Johnny reading. I said during that time that, you know, everybody was on her side, but that people were going to end up being on his side once they got to court and the way that things worked out. And it was going to turn out that both of them had done egregious things to each other, you know, and they both were wrong in certain situations, but that it wasn't all he's just a monster and she's innocent. And, you know, it kind of feels like almost like the court situation, if they do go to trial, like ends up kind of like that, where it's like, because if you guys remember, Amber did win on some counts and she did get some judgments in her favor. I think, what did she get, like awarded like $2 million, and then it was like 12 million, you know, went to Johnny or something like that. I don't remember the exact amounts. It would be something kind of similar where it's like they throw Justin a bone and he gets one little thing, but like overwhelmingly all the rest of the stuff goes in Blake's favor. And he's not getting his $400 million like people think or anything like that. So I see his side trying to settle. I don't see her side wanting to, because they want to go to court. They want the truth to come out. They want things, it's like she sees it as, this is the only way to vindicate myself, right? If I settle, obviously settlements, come with confidentiality clauses and this and that. And it's like, then everybody doesn't really get to know like the truth about what happens. And at this point, so many people have been attacked and hurt, because it's not obviously just her, the rest of the cast has basically been bullied too. And so, I know everybody thinks that Justin was the one, like he came out trying to go scorched earth, but I feel like Blake is ready to go scorched earth in her own way. And she's a Virgo. Virgos can be extremely stubborn and willing to kind of lay low in the grass and then wait for their chance to strike. And then when they do, nobody sees it coming. And all of a sudden it's like, oh shit, I didn't know you had all that information. Oh my God. Like you really are determined to like beat me down. Because after that judgment card, it was the Tower card for him. He thinks that he's going to get a lot of money out of this, though. But again, once people within that group start turning on each other, because it's like, if you're a Jennifer Abel or a Jamie Heath, do you have hundreds of millions of dollars? No. You're looking at, oh my God, like if they do win and I have to pay like, this magical number that a jury comes up with to say like, oh, these are the things that were done wrong to Blake and she lost this amount of money. It's like, my grandkids are going to be like working like dogs to pay this back. And so they're going to want to like get themselves out of that. Boy. Okay. It's just interesting, I just can't believe that anybody would be dumb enough to like do things on a company phone, because that's the thing. It's like Stephanie Jones told her, like, don't bring Melissa Nathan into this. Don't go that route. And, Jennifer Abel thought that she was going to take clients from her, was using company property to do things like that. Because if you read the Stephanie Jones versus Jennifer Abel lawsuit, it's like she was downloading confidential documents and client lists and reaching out to people and trying to get them to go to her new firm with her. And she possibly did put out hate websites and stories to smear Stephanie Jones too. And again, we don't have all of the proof in that situation yet, because obviously we haven't gotten to the discovery phase where all of the evidence is going to be submitted. But it's like, she's not winning that case. And again, it's like she made the mistake of not only using the company property to do it, but then again, what Spirit is saying, it's like those outside people that she was bragging to. Oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Oh my God, I'm going to go open up my own firm and I'm taking all of Stephanie's clients. And we're also like doing this, smear campaign on Blake, and look at how good it's working. And she just got caught up in the ego and didn't think with the logic. And that is going to cost her so bad. So it's just, it's like, this is all like coming in from spirit. And I'm just like, oh my God, like, how could somebody be this dumb? Like, girl, what is wrong with you? That's what my grandma always used to say. If you're going to commit a crime, never write it down and don't involve other people. Because it'll always come back to bite you in the butt. Somebody's going to save that, whether it's an email, a text message, you wrote it on a piece of notebook paper, put it on Facebook, whatever it is, like somebody somewhere is going to have that proof, and you are going to be screwed if they decide that they're going to, give it to the wrong people or use it against you. So, yeah, I don't get Justin winning this. I get them trying at some point to settle, and I get Blake being like, nope, I want to go to trial. I want this to all get settled in a way that everybody has to finally see like what really happens. A court, a judge, a jury, like gets to see all this real information and all the evidence and make their decision. And you're not going to kind of like, she looks at it as like, oh, if they try to settle, like you're trying to get out of it. You're still trying to cover your butt. You're still trying to manipulate people into thinking that you're not the bad guy. So, yeah, I don't see her wanting to settle. I see them trying to, but I do not see her wanting to. Spirit saying Stephanie Jones and Jennifer Abel will settle their lawsuit. But Jennifer Abel's, gonna have to pay her. Like she's the wrong one. And I do feel like that will also be used to prove Blake's case, because it's like, okay, well, when Stephanie Jones like is able to prove that Jennifer Abel did all these things and all of the receipts and stuff that comes out, it's like then Blake's team is able to bring it in and say, look, here's the proof. Look, she already lost a case behind this or had to settle. Like, look, she was wrong. So that girl's just screwed, regardless of which way you look at it. I am going to go ahead and cut that here since we covered that stuff. Well, actually, because I don't want this to get too long. Let me ask real quick about the New York Times, and then we'll get into the nitty gritty of, did anybody have a crush on each other? Did somebody steal a movie? Like, how are people's marriages doing behind this? And the kind of more gossipy, juicy stuff. Okay, I just wanted to kind of look at the facts first. So let's see. Spirit. Please tell me. And I will upload these back to back, so you don't have to like wait one day and then the next to get the rest of it. It's just, I don't want it to take 100 million years to upload and process and do all the YouTube checks that it has to do and everything else. But it will do if it goes on, forever. So, the New York Times is going to get out of this. It's not going to go to court with them. I do feel like, they're going to be able to use case law and journalistic privileges, and like we did all of the right things that we were supposed to do in order to release this article. It's not going to court. Justin is going to have to pay their attorney's fees. They are going to, use the slap statutes and all of that for it, but they shouldn't have gone after them. They should have just used this as evidence against Blake and left it at that, because Spirit is saying, that's where like Brian kind of went misguided, going after Ryan, going after the New York Times. Like, if he would just kept it, including Leslie Sloan, which is Blake's PR, over some statement that she made to some other third party, but never got published anywhere and never made it to the public. It's like, Spirit is saying, stop exhausting the court, stop antagonizing the judge with things that they don't see as all of that important. And really, my questions are, why didn't you sue Sony? Why didn't you sue WME for dropping you? Why didn't you sue Sony for, supposedly allowing Blake to take over the movie? Like, he didn't want to go after the people that it would have made more sense for him to go after. But the New York Times is going to be celebrating. They win. They get what they want. They get out of this. And again, it's another tower card for Justin's side of things. Spirit's also saying that eventually Leslie Stone and Ryan Reynolds will both be dropped as well out of the lawsuits. They might let Friedman and them, amends the complaint a couple times more or whatever, like however many times they're allowed to do it. But ultimately, they're dismissed from it. And, Judge Lehman is just going to want to stick to it's you versus Blake. You guys are at the center of this. Yes, there's other people that are involved that were on set, Jamie being one of those, but Melissa Nathan and Jennifer Abel obviously had direct things to do with, any smear campaigns that may or may not have happened, but they just don't feel like anything, like the Ryan stuff, none of it happened publicly. And because it was a parody, the nice pull stuff, and there was no real name said, and it wasn't until Justin and Brian Friedman themselves came out and said nice pull was about him that anybody really started thinking that it was. So that's going to work against them. And he's going to get out of this too. I mean, as Ryan's walking away from it, and he's going to get his legal fees paid. So, yeah, New York Times, Ryan, Leslie, they're all going to get their motions to dismiss granted at some point. Maybe not immediately. You might be able, the judge will try to be fair and give Justin's side an opportunity to amend complaints and actually prove something, as far as this is really what happens and why they should be included. But ultimately, it's not going to work. And again, Justin, Jamie, Wayfarer, whoever, if any of you see this, get a better lawyer. If you want any opportunity to either win or lessen how much you're going to end up paying and the damages that you are going to incur in this situation, get rid of Friedman and get a real lawyer who knows what they're doing. Get somebody who is a federal court lawyer. Shit, go hire the person that got Young Thug out of all of this stuff. So anyways, guys, I am going to end this here, start uploading this, and then I will be back with the second part where we'll get into the juicy parts of things. I love you so much. If you made it this far, comment and let me know which side you are on. Keep it respectful in the comments, please. Again, we don't have to like Blake to be like, okay, something bad happened to her. They're all assholes. They're all narcissists. It's a battle between narcissistic assholes at the end of the day. So if you want to follow me anywhere, book a reading, all of that will be in the description box below. Bye.